Check one, two, three. Finally, good morning. My name is Terrence Mitchell. As a LinkedIn advisor, thank you for joining me. This is a 038 video broadcast service, an interdisciplinary implementation 038 production. This is an official narrowcast episode. See the citation in any printed representation of this episode. Today's topic, the origins of narrowcasting versus broadcasting, and why narrowcasting is a more authentic than podcasting. Let's begin by defining our terms. Broadcasting historically meant sending one message broadly to the public, to the mass audiences, or to a mass audience. The term broadcast itself was first used metaphorically in 1921 to describe radio transmissions aimed at the general public or a general audience. In contrast, narrowcasting is the dissemination of information to a specialized audience defined by demographics, values, or preferences. So broadcasting says everyone is listening. Narrowcast says this specific group tuned in. This is for you. In addition, broadcasting was the model when three major TV networks dominated, and newspapers served whole cities rather than niches. Here's a quick timeline. Early 20th century, the term broadcast was adopted to describe transmitting to all. Mid-1960s, the term narrowcast appears in media discourse. Some sources credit J.C.R. Licklider in a 1967 report for coining the idea of a multiplicity of television networks aimed at a smaller, specialized audience. Let me say that again. A multiplicity of television networks aimed at a smaller, specialized audience. With cable, specialized channels like MTV, ESPN, etc., the narrowcast model became mainstream. Thus, from one to many is a broadcast, and many to a specific group is a narrowcast. Now, let's compare narrowcasting with podcasting. Podcasting is more streamlined than broadcasting, yes. But in many cases, podcasting still aims for a broad appeal across interest groups. Narrowcast goes further. It targets a defined group, engages them intentionally, and builds a deeper connection. For Gen Z and millennials, the authenticity of narrowcasting comes from being intentionally present in a niche, not politely trying to please everyone. When you produce a narrowcast, you say, I know you, I see you, I'm speaking to you. Let's look at broadcasting news in its original form. Broadcast news originally required that there were three different verified sources that provided the who, what, when, where, and how, and three different sources agreed on that. Today, many news outlets break stories with incomplete information, not fully reporting on who did it, when they did it, or even how they did it. What this shift means is less in depth, more speed. Narrowcasting allows you to reclaim that depth and authenticity. Let's anchor this in research. Dr. Cynthia Tyson of The Ohio State University wrote in an article entitled Research, Race, and the Epistemology of Emancipation that research epistemologies rooted in dominant paradigms often fail to account for the lived experience of marginalized groups. Furthermore, Dr. B.T. Williams in The Truth in the Tale, Race and Counter Storytelling in Classrooms argued that counter stories introduce resistance to dominant culture narratives. They invite authentic voices and new frames. Why is this relevant here? Because narrowcasting by definition allows a more specific, authentic voice, specificity. You're not broadcasting to the mass audience, you're deliberately crafting for a niche. This research on voice representation and authenticity through Tyson and Williams backs this up. Now, for Gen Z and millennials, here's how you use narrowcasting. Identify your niche audience and your interest or your value set or community missing strong representation. Craft your medium. Think of your channel, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Shorts, IGTV as a narrowcast platform, not generic but tailored. Use the framework of authenticity. Speak with the audience, not at them. Build communities. Narrowcast thrives with engagement, with engaged participatory audiences. Leverage story and voice, because in narrowcasting, you're not afraid of being specific, provocative, and knowledgeable. Narrowcast isn't one size fits all. It evolves, it monitors, it feeds back, it interacts, it adjusts. So we're narrowcasting here at 038 Productions. We're narrowcasting on narrowcasttelevision.net. And I'd like you to try narrowcasting. If you have content you want to share with us, send it to me. I'm Terrence Mitchell, your LinkedIn advisor. This is a 038 video broadcast service and an Interdisciplinary Implementation 038 production. I want to thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep your voice narrow, your message intentional, and your impact real. Thanks.